Welcome, guys. Welcome, 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 welcome. Come on down, guys. Welcome, welcome to another show. How are you guys doing today? Hope everyone's feeling awesome, feeling bright. I'm like getting ready to meet one of those things, right? But every day after I wake up, right? And every day I have a little bit of eyeliner, and then my eyebrows, and we are natural, Oswela. Okay, we go natural. All right, welcome, guys. Come on down, tag a friend. We're talking about something very important here this evening. Welcome, a new week for the show. It's a brand new week for the show. Um, Last time we locked off. We were not sure if we were going to be having a show or shows this week because so many things were going on, both in my life and in the life of, I guess, people who normally come on or would want to come on the show. And this has been in the talks actually for some time. It was just a matter of locking in the date. So this evening we're going to be talking Mayfest activities, and we're starting off the conversation with the Margot Village Health Fair Group and the Ecumenical Service Group. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. And the activities around some of the events that are going on for Mayfest. So if you're from Margot, I want to big you up one time. If you're from St. Andrews area, you know, if you're from the parish of I'm from the parish of St. Andrews. Vegas is St. Andrews, okay? All right, the biggest parish. So if you're on, especially if you're from the parish of St. Andrew, you want to tag a friend, let them know, that this is happening, so they can get some information on how this would be important or why this would be important for them, especially since it's so very close to their location. So I want to welcome every single one of you who are locked in. Good evening to you, wherever you're locked in. Like I mentioned, it's a new week. Today we have these folks coming on, so that we have Deborah and Sandra. I feel like they're my friends already. Like we're on a first name basis. So they're going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking to them a little bit about their organizations and what they're doing. But before I even start, I really want to, or get into things, I really want to big up the community of Margot. Like I've said this a few times on my show, and I want to reiterate, like Margot has always supported me and my programs. Which is why I always keep an open arm for them whenever, like when it comes to audio ads, like I do audio ads for the Margaret Corporate Union, so I want to big them up. When it comes to I've had Setwa on my show, I've had like so many organizations that are around the Margaret community come on my show, and I just want to say thank you, to them for trusting in my show, because it's not everybody might find me favorable, and they just happen to. I don't know, for whatever reason, they like my show, they've come in, they've supported. I want to big up Naja Odi, aka Odi, Norris, Francois. We've worked together, we've collaborated together, even for my documentary, and she's always and consistently had me on the back of my mind, as I have her at the back of mine, for projects, activities, initiatives. We are friends in business, and we're also, I really appreciate that. Margaret always thinks of me. So thank you. I'm not from Margaret, I'm from Vegas, but they always think of me, and I like to give people their flowers. I like to say thank you when people are good to me. I would like to express my gratitude to them. And I'm not saying that I've closed my shows to any other communities. That is totally not the case. As a matter of fact, my show is open to every and anybody who wants to come on. You just have to reach out. Reach out if there's availability, of course, and you are doing something that I believe is content that we can mutually benefit from. Why not? Why not? So I don't want to make this long and winding. I just really wanted to say thank you to them, first and foremost. And I want to encourage you guys when you come on the live, share the live, share the live. Let folks know what's going on um, in this program here this evening. We're also going to be having tomorrow. We're going to be having uh, the the DPP, that is Chairman Darren Burst, going to be coming on tomorrow. We're going to be talking a little bit about the most recent amendments that have been done to the AKA Margaret Act in Dominica. That's what we refer to it as. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. If you have questions, I know a lot of people are what is the word I want to use? Boy, I'm going to use my words very carefully. People are kicking up storm. They're kicking up storm. They're saying a lot of different things. Everybody has their opinions. They have their views. But I really wanted to discuss with Shama to find out, how that applies to everyone on a whole. What does the law entail? What is it? Who is it? Who is involved? Who does it pertain to? And so much more. So we're going to be talking tomorrow, but today we got the folks from Marigot that's going to be joining us. So I want to welcome them. I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to give them a full hour so they can come on and really express themselves and share with us. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest who's joining me here this evening. So like I mentioned to you, we're going to have Sandra Green, who is of the Marigot Health. I keep jumping village because I don't see Marigot as a village, but Marigot Village Health Fair Group. And we're going to be also joined by Deborah Blackman of the Ecumenical Service Group. So I want to welcome them both on the show. Hello. You guys hearing me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Welcome.
Thank you for having the Afuawi team live.
Hey, Afuawi. So you're hearing me okay, Sandra?
Yes, I'm okay. Loud and clear.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to have you. I love your bright yellow. You bring in sunlight right on the show.
That's what Marigot does to the rest of Dominica. Bring sunlight.
Wait, baby. It's great. It's good to have you both on the show. I was just expressing my gratitude to the folks, the Marigot community. Who always come on my show whenever they have events. So whenever they have any events, I've always, they've always either reached out to me or made themselves available to come on the show, and I wanted to show some gratitude to them, and I want to say thank you guys to both of you for taking the time out to come and share with my audience about all the exciting things that are going on in Marigot as it relates to your individual organizations over the next couple of weeks, because Mayfest. We're in May. We're the 1st of May, right? Mayfest is going on, and everybody knows whenever May hits, all roads lead to Marigot. Once May hits, all roads lead to Marigot, right? So we want to be talking a little bit about what you guys have in store for the folks in Dominica and those who are going to be making their way to Dominica for the duration of May. But before we get started in discussing, some of the events that you guys are going to be having, I want you to both introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Sandra. So Sandra, tell me a little bit about you and what you do. We want to get to know. Want to get to know you a little personal.
Okay, so good night to you, Jael, and to your listeners, all the persons who are logged in onto your show. Ever so often, I log on and listen and have a good laugh at times, and so although I'm not there all the time on your show, I'm usually listening most times.
That's good. Thank you.
Right. So I am Sandra Green. I am an educator by profession. I specialize in elementary education. I think the foundation is absolutely necessary, and so I like to deal with the little ones, helping to, a house which hasn't got a strong foundation can topple over very quickly. So I believe in setting that foundation at elementary level. So I spend most of my time in the classroom at elementary level in Dominica and out of Dominica.
Okay.
I have recently retired.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I think it's about me time now.
Hey, that's
So
why you look so bright.
so I have recently retired and I am gradually making my way back to Dominica, but I am involved with various organizations here and out of Dominica as well.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us, Sandra. So we get to know a little bit about you, and I think it's only fair that we get to know a little bit about Deborah. Deborah, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, hi, good evening, viewers, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Deborah Blackman. I have been working in business development with the OECS Commission for the last 31 years. Has been my first job out of college and is my last job because I'll be retiring soon. And
Wow.
yes, I have I've been having a lot of community engagements from a child because my mom used to be a real community person. She was involved in the village councils, she was involved in the church activities, and she always dragged us along to do this and to do that. So, working in my community is nothing new, and we want to welcome everybody to Marigot for the month of May because I don't know if you are aware, but this year Mayfest will be in two parts. So you have
Yes.
Mayfest in the beginning and Mayfest in the end. So it's part one and two.
zero
So
point
we
0.2.
have the whole
Only
month
take
for
the whole month.
yes. So the whole month will be Marigot month.
Yes, yes. It's very nice again to have you on. So you both, I like you mentioned, you both are involved in community work. You both have been involved in multiple groups within the community of Margaret. So Sandra, I wanted you to tell me a little bit about the group specific that you're on here to speak on. You are part of a group called the Margaret Village Health Fair Group. And it's also dubbed St. Andrew's Hospital Foundation USA. And if you could tell us a little bit about that group and what you guys do within that group.
So yes, I'm actually representing the St. Andrew's Hospital Foundation USA. As you would hear the name USA linked to it, which means that that is actually a group that is based out of Dominica.
Mhm.
We started off somewhere with a simple conversation in 2017 between two individuals from the catchment area, Marigot and Kalibishi, because when I say catchment area, that really represents the health district, the
Okay.
Marigot Health District.
Mhm.
And the conversation was about the lack of health care. They had taken our Marigot Hospital from us. Health was a big issue. People couldn't get at anything to. People were dying, literally dying for little things. Little
Mhm.
things like they have an asthmatic attack, and because there is no those the pumps that they would use normally for the oxygen, they had none, and the guy would have driven himself all the way to the hospital, the health center in Wesley, and eventually passed there. And that was a sore point for us, and we spoke about that and spoke about it, and eventually we decided let's do something, and out of that conversation was born the St. Andrews Hospital Foundation, USA.
I thought you guys named it St. Andrews because it wasn't like you didn't localize it to just Margaret. You focus on the entire parish of St. Andrew.
Well, because of the catchment area, the Marigot Health District incorporates Kalibishi all the way to Atkinson,
Hmm.
and all of that is St. Andrews. So we didn't want to use Marigot, Marigot. We didn't want to use Marigot. So we went to the St. Andrews tagline, and since then we got our 501c, which, as you mentioned earlier on, is a non-profit organization. So we have the grants that we are capable of sourcing. We have charity that comes in from other people. We get funds we ask for funds to help with different things and we get it. So from the inception, to now, we have actually been sending in stuff to the health center in Wesley, because that was what existed for us for a long time, just that health center. So we'd send things like blood pressure machines, glucose monitors, uh, bandages, strips for the glucose monitors, the same pumps for those asthmatic patients, and things like that. We would send in on a regular basis to the health center in Wesley. And in the last 2 years, we got on board with FDC to help with the health fair that was once part of the Marigot Development Corporation Mayfest activity. And that kind of died out after Maria. So we revived it. Was revived last year, and St. Andrew's Sash, as we call it, got involved with that organization. And here we are for the second time.
Wow. So you mentioned some of the activities, like you've done certain things within the Wesley Health Center. Can you be a bit more explicit? Because some folks, like you were explicit in expressing, like somebody died because they were not able to get oxygen, right? So what are some of the things that you guys have actually done within the district in terms of helping your community?
So we actually have sent in a number of small items, like the high blood pressure machines.
Okay.
We've sent in quite a few of them. We sent in one of those that could be wheeled to the patients if they are very, very ill and can't move to where the nurse is sitting. So they would wheel it out to the patient and get that blood pressure check taken. We also sent in glucometers to have the sugar, the test for sugar. We've sent in cholesterol readers as well, and things like gloves and material that was needed during COVID, like the gloves, the masks, and those things. Those were sent in
And
to
it's
the health center
hand
with
sanitizers.
hand sanitizers and all of those little things that were needed during that period. In the last year, we got on board with the health team, with the district, and we have been supplying the things that have been used at the health fair. So
Okay.
all the health team does for us is come and do the job as the medical practitioners, but we supply all of the equipment that they use, like the things for taking the pap smear, the disposable pap smear spatulas. We sent that in. We sent in a scale so that they could use to get the bios of the patients that are attending, and that's the kind of thing we've been doing. We have in our thing health education as well, but we have not yet gotten to that part. But we do have a health education component in the health fair that's taking place on Friday.
How beneficial, Sandra, have you felt that the work that you've done, or the extra mile that you've gone for your community? What sort of impact have you really seen in the community? Because, like you mentioned, you have a fair, and I mean, we've had the Ministry of Health have fairs all the time, but you're literally supplying all of the everything that they need. So what is the impact like, and you can share with us also in terms of the community coming to attend the fair. That would also be interested to I would also be interested to know about.
So last year we did the fair. Everything was running late because by the time we decided to get on board, it was almost crunch time. We had about a month to organize, and we had over 50 persons turn out for that health fair. Quite a wide range, 18 all the way up to 80 came to the school, and where we normally keep the health fair, and they were there. Some of them had their screenings for cervical cancer. There was prostate screening. The people who we even had a physiotherapist on board, and so quite a few people needed to get help with their aches and pains. And the report, we did a survey, and everybody complimented the health care.
Wow.
They had other little demands that they had, probably things like eye screenings and things like that they would have liked to have. And it's a free activity. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to get on a bus to get to Roseau. So the people are coming out. There were people, we started about 10 last year, and by 8 o'clock, there were already people lined up there waiting for that activity to start. So we know that it's having an impact and that people are looking forward to the health fair, which is going to help them ease the problem of having to go to Roseau. Yes, we have a hospital here, but it's like an emergency unit.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to go to Wesley. And, so with the health fair, you can get it for free. One day you stay in the community and you go back to your home, and there's follow up. If you have to do follow ups, you go to the health center or the hospital, whichever the case may be.
Okay, so I want us to stick up in there because we don't want to get into too much about the activity, because I'm sure you guys you're gonna give us a lot of details in terms of what people can expect this year. Like you said, some people made requests, so probably their request might have been granted. You never know, right?
You
So
never do.
what are some of the things that people can expect this year when the activity is going on? And I want to kind of go over to Deborah because Deborah's foundation, or what she does, is very interesting, and it almost ties in at this junction nicely with what you guys are doing, because the lack of what you're doing it can lead to death, and as a result you probably have people that you don't even remember. Like, I mean, like all the time this happens to us, where people pass away and we miss them, and we, this has happened to me actually most recently. There a few people that I was close to, passed away, and you miss them, and then you run into people and they say to you, oh, I remember so and so and whatever. And you're like, and then you leave well, my experience is I leave people after this conversation, and I'm like, oh my God, like the memory of them is like fading away so quickly. Like it's so recent, but their memories already faded away. Like people just move on with their lives and continue. And in as much as, like, it's heartbreaking, because every time I've had this conversation, I leave like my eyes wet. Like I'm just like, oh my God, like people can just, and I think probably that is why I'm so determined to keep the memory of my parents alive. And I like what you guys are doing, and I want you to share a little bit about the Margaret History Working Group, slash the Ecumenical Service Group. Tell us a little bit about your organization, Deborah.
Okay, thanks, Jael. Okay, this conversation began, I think, like about 14 plus years ago, that a group of persons have been talking about documenting the history of Marigot, because this activity is part of that bigger program, which is the history of Marigot.
Mhm.
So we want to establish a program that we will do some research, compile, preserve, disseminate the history of Marigot through a series of activities, research papers, publications, podcast interviews, town hall style interactions with the community. So
Deborah,
this
before you continue, why did you feel like, what started that conversation? Because I'm always interested to know, like, why people decide to form certain things. What started that conversation?
well, Marigot has a very rich history. um you will hear people say a lot of the smart people come from Marigot. So we have had a lot of persons who have contributed a lot to Dominica, and a lot of people who have had offspring that have contributed a lot to Marigot. I mean, Marigot has had its first prime minister, who was Honorable Edison James. So we have a lot of these historical things that our children don't even know anything about. Because sometimes if I ask my son, who's 24, and I ask him something about Margot, he'd be like, huh? Because he has no clue what I'm talking about. So we realized that a lot of the history will be gone when we are gone. So we thought it would be good to document some of that. And then when you look in the community, a lot of the older people, they are dying, they're passing on because they're getting very old. And they have a lot of stories that they can tell us about Marigot, to tell us about the estates that were in Marigot, to tell us about the airport, how the airport started, what was the first plane that landed in Marigot, and all of that kind of history.
I even
And
want to know now. You're telling me, saying this now. I want to know. What was the
yeah,
first plane that landed in Marigot?
so, all of this we thought should be documented so our children, and not only our children, but the entire Dominica can have access to read about the history of Margot, because the history of Margot is really rich. And we really do have a lot of smart people who came from Margot and are coming from Margot.
I think this is a neat idea. And this is something. I was actually listening to I believe it was Create Caribbean. They held that is Dr. Shyla Esprit. She held
Mhm.
I can't remember what it was. It was a workshop or a forum where she had professors from the University of the West Indies come and share. And one of the things that they were saying is that a lot of our history, not just Margot, not just Dominica, but the Caribbean, a lot of our the older people are passing away, and we're not we have become so instant that we're not thinking of what
Yes.
about what happened before. Like I was having
Yes.
a conversation saying that, hey, I got to see computers when they had the big belly in the back. I got to see phones. Like I was watching a show the other day, and my son was there, and he's like, "What is she holding in her hand?" And she was actually talking in her phone, and that was like 1990, and to me, it felt like it was just the other day because I remember watching the show back then, and him saying, like, is that what is that, mommy? What is that? And he's 6, and I'm like, it's a phone. A phone? Why is it so big? Right? And it just got me thinking, oh my God, like so many of our young people have actually not gone through those experiences and will never go through those experiences. I mean, even just thinking about how they interact now, interaction is online. Nobody goes outside and play bebel or play marble or ring a rosy or hopscotch or dodgeball. They don't do those things anymore, or peg, and slowly, you find that things that happened in the past just disappears. So I
Yeah.
really like that you guys are doing it, and it should not just be a Marigot thing. I think all the communities in Dominica should do that. And one of the things that came out of that event at Create Caribbean was, one of the professors was saying, you have a smartphone, record your elderly grandmother, ask them questions about their life, like don't just leave them sit down there, drink coffee. Question them about your history. Talk to your parents about how they met. How things were, how they dated, like things like that. Where they used to go. Like the other day, we were telling my kids about warehouse, and they're like, warehouse. And to them it was like, you know. So
Yeah.
many things are can easily be forgotten, and not because we want it to be forgotten. It's just the times are evolving, and if you don't keep certain things alive, it eventually disappears. So I really commend your group for starting this off. And can you share with us what are some of the things that you guys have been doing, like actively doing, to keep the memory of your community alive?
Okay, so like I said, it has been a lot of discussion. So in March, we decided that we need to start concretizing some of all the talk, 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 talk. So we decided that we would launch the working group, and our first activity would be remembering our ancestors, because our thought behind this is that this activity, we will gather a lot of data that we can now move into our archives for the history project. So we decided to do an ecumenical service. We put out a registration form out there, so you can come on, you register your ancestor that you'd like to celebrate, and we want to end that celebration with either a lantern or a balloon that we will release. So we invited all of the churches in Marigot. There's about 9 of them. So all of the churches will participate, and on Saturday at 5 o'clock, we'll have that service, and we are having that service at our Heroes Park. Now, Heroes Park
Well,
is
before you tell me about this service, I want to
Mhm.
kind of understand what is the expectation, because you said that this is the first. So somebody might be saying like, why is this the first thing that they would like to do? What do you expect to gain from this activity?
From this activity, we expect to get a lot of names, persons who have existed and passed on a long time ago. So we start building our database, and so from those persons now we can start tracing back, and to figure out where some of the history lies. So, like for instance, let's say my great grandmother was a doctor. So coming from that, we can trace back, well, where she worked, what kind of medicine she practiced, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So that's what we want to gain from this activity. So hopefully we have well, so far we have really been building a good database, and it's across the whole village. So we have zoned it into nine zones. So we have persons from the diaspora registering their loved ones, persons locally are registering their loved ones, and they're registering people who passed away in 1901. So you see
Wow.
that it's a lot of history.
Wow, wow, that's fantastic. I'm getting goosebumps because I'm a fan of history. Let me tell you. So just hearing you guys, you talk about this, and how much you can get out of this. It's so valuable, because not only will you find out about what people did, but their accomplishments, in terms of, okay, yes, they were a doctor, but they probably moved to a different country and served elsewhere. And a lot of times, because these things, we didn't have the internet, in those days, they do not necessarily recorded, right? um
Exactly.
so how do we find out? It's just a great way of finding out all of these extra information about people who have really contributed, not just to Marigot but to Dominica. Because if somebody from Marigot goes out and did wonderful things, it's a reflection on Dominica.
By
So
extension,
so
yes.
so I absolutely love that initiative. I want to, before we get into speaking about the activities that you guys are going to be having, I want to get into the chat a little bit. Some folks have been commenting. So we had someone on YouTube saying hello to you guys earlier on. I think Dolores was saying
Hi,
hello to you
Dolores.
guys earlier on. And we have a few folks on Facebook who are locked in. So we have Miranda Williams is saying hi. Lola is saying good evening. Shedian is saying go Auntie Deborah Blackman. Um,
Teddy.
Samantha is saying she loved your top. She loved the fact that you're sharing the sunlight. Sherry Ann Elize Cobbett is saying my favorite teacher, Sandra. Avanel Jamari is saying good evening. Good evening to Sandra. Good evening to Karen. Good evening to Jay Prince, Francis Lewis, Martina Massacott, Sparkle Queen, who's saying my beautiful lady Sandra. Odie joined the conversation. Health is wealth, and the health fair is such a needed event. Also, the ecumenical service may just be the most unique event of all. I love that we're including those who've passed on in our celebrations. Um, Frances is saying she misses Marigot. This is where she grew up. Uh, Inez is on from Marigot as well. Trisha Henderson. Trisha, long time no see. How are you, Trisha? I know Trisha from my QTS days. So she said good night to teacher Sandra and the other guests. Jay Prince is loving your yellow. Karen Valda is saying good night, teacher Sandra, including the other guests. Love the yellow. Just want to say an excellent initiative from Marigot. So folks are coming. Gregory, Richard is saying Dominica strong, and I'm picking you guys up, and just congratulating you guys on the work that you're doing within your community, because most times, and people don't know this, and sometimes people always say, "Oh, yo cafe l'argent, they making money." A lot of times it's volunteer. All right, a lot of these things. I like how Sandra fing her face, like it's a labor of love, and a lot of times people don't understand
Is
that that is exactly what it is. So I want to go back to Sandra, and I want you to share with us some of the things that you guys have planned, because you have a health fair that's coming up. It is your second, right? It's the second that you're really participating completely.
Yeah.
And we want to know when it's happening and what are some of the things that folks can expect, because it is an absolute free event. So we want to encourage people to take advantage of it. So what are some of the things that are going to be happening at the health fair, and when will that take place?
So before I jump into what is happening, just want to give a line what is happening to the vision of the foundation. The vision of the foundation is to ensure that the residents of the St. Andrews Parish in the Commonwealth of Dominica has access to high quality care services. And as a result of that, that's just part of the vision. But as a result of that, we are pushed to get involved in the health fair activity that MDC has during that time. We have been working closely to the Marigot Health team, all the nurses and the doctors at the Wesley Health Center. They are part of the health team. They function only at the health team, at the health district health centers.
Mhm.
And then the hospital has a different set of staff members who function there. So we are working with the health team. The health team, they're very encouraging because for them, they see their work lighter. They see that, okay, we don't have much supply in in the health center itself, but these people are good people that we can link with. We associate ourselves, so if we have a little something and we want something, we can call on them and they will find it and send it down to us. So we are actually establishing a real good linkage with the health team in the district.
Fantastic.
For the health fair, last year we had, like I said, the prostate checks, we had the hypertension cases that we did when we did the bio, when the person registers, because we have a registration that goes on. So you come in, there's a registration form that you have to fill. You will give us the bio for your date of birth, also where you live, what are you suffering from, what's your ailment, how long have you had that, and we pick up that kind of data from the registration form. So we
Okay.
have hypertension, we take we take their weight, we check their blood sugar. We last year we were unable to do the cholesterol checks, but this year we definitely have other machines that can work, and we are using that this time. We're going to do the cholesterol checks. We are doing the cervical cancer checks. We are doing breast cancer checks. We are doing prostate cancer checks. We have the health educators who are coming in with the nutritional aspect of it. We also had on board last year the HIV unit, and they will come back up this year. I think the drug unit is going to be included this year as well. And we have Fresh Market. Fresh Market is also playing a key role in that because their pharmacy is sponsoring part of this activity.
Yes.
And
Big up to Fresh
they
Market.
excuse me?
I said big up to Fresh Market.
Yes, they are on board with us from last year, and they come up with lots of medication. This year they're focusing on a lot of preventative measures. So I guess they'll be talking. Last year they had they gave some information about Fresh Market, and they had a question and answer part of it where people could win little tokens, and they will again be doing that this year. So basically that's what it's going to be. We have someone who can do those eye checks. The only thing I'm not sure they will get is to deal with the children. Although if the children come and there is an issue, they will be attended to, because we have two doctors who will be here from the district. and many of the staff members from the district will also be there with us. And we have two additional doctors who are coming from out of the district to be part of this activity.
Wow. When is that happening? When is the
That is
health?
actually happening on the foot that we opened Mayfest celebrations this year by making sure that our people in Marigot and the surrounding areas, their health is intact. So we're starting with the health fair on May 3rd, which is 2 days away from now at
Mm-hmm.
the Will Strathmore Stevens, and we will start at 9 in the morning and end at 4.
Wow. That's a
At
lot
the
that you
end
guys
of
are going
that,
to be doing.
when the people get attended to, we have a lovely survey that they will be expected to fill out to give us feedback on that so that we can see how we can improve. It's always good to get feedback when you do an activity. And since we can't call back the people to have any SWOT analysis from them, we are using our surveys to get information, and then we will have our in-house SWOT analysis.
So this is open to anyone within the St. Andrews Parish.
Everybody is invited, even out of St. Andrews. If you feel you want to be a part of it, you're free to come. We'll accept you. We'll take care of you as well. But
Yeah.
the focus is really Marigot and the other areas of the Marigot Health District and extension other persons in the St. Andrews district,
Wow, that is
St.
beautiful.
Andrews Parish.
That is beautiful. First of all, I want to big up to Fresh Market for coming on board with you guys and offering some assistance. But also to shout out all the healthcare providers who are going to be, assisting with the different services that are going to be offered at the health fair. That is so very, very, very important to start off. I like the fact that you guys are starting off on a healthy note, right? If you're healthy, you'll be able to enjoy all of me even better, right?
All of me.
All of
And,
me.
and, and, and to tell you, to be honest with you, Jael, we're having Mayfest Part 1 and Part 2. But for the entire month of May, feel free to come to Marigot because we have loads of activities every weekend leading up to Part 2.
Let me tell you, in my days before Hurricane Maria, my partner and I, Margot, we used to die, they used to go and party. Like every chance we get, we were heading on to Margot. Couple times even sleeping on the road on our way back because we were too tired to drive all the way back. No, so I know Margot's vibes. I definitely know no flower pots in Marigot. Everybody always having a good time in Marigot. So I'm happy that you added that extra. Deborah, you guys are having this service, and Norris pointed out, that he's so excited because he's done a few lantern events in the past, and he knows that this is going to be big vibes, pure vibes. Tell us a little bit about the service, when it's being held, the time, and what are some of the expectations, like what are some of the things that people can anticipate.
Okay. So the tribute service we thought would be a great way to reach the entire community and to get the entire community involved in all of the Mayfest activities and to kind of start introducing them to the history aspects of what we want to do. So the activity will be held on the 4th of May, which is Saturday at 5 p.m. And we are having that activity in one of the most scenic places in Marigot, which is the Heroes Park. Now, let me just give you a little history about the Heroes Park. It was established by the Marigot Development Corporation, and it's basically a very pretty wall that has been set up where plaques are being installed of persons who have contributed tremendously to the village of Marigot. So we'll be having that event in Heroes.
Conveniently, yeah, look at that, how that just works out.
And
It just
Heroes Park is like over Marigot. So when you stand there, you see a Marigaland in the distance, and you see almost the entire village in the distance. So it's really a beautiful and scenic spot to be. So that's where we'll be having the event. And as I said earlier, we will have all hopefully that all 9 of the churches will be on board with us. And we'll have a really nice, tight program where we have words of comfort will be given by some of the preachers. Then we'll have a little history of what our group is all about. And then what the feature of the event is, we'll be calling out the names of all the persons who will be honored, who will be remembered. And we also will be having those names being scrolled on a television screen throughout the process. And we have done everything in zones, as I said, so it will be 9 zones. So persons will be reading out the zones. So after zone one, then we release the lanterns and the balloons for the persons who are being remembered in zone one. So it's going to be a really unique activity for Mayfest, because Mayfest has always been, the party and the health fair and everything else. And this is the first year that we're having an ecumenical activity.
Wow. So we're calling on all of the churches, because it's not a one denominational thing.
No,
It's
everyone.
all the dominant, because every single person, regardless of where you attend service, or you where your what your religious belief is, you've lost someone, right? You
Exactly.
lost someone, and you probably want them to be remembered in some way, whether it is just acknowledging that, hey, this person has passed on, and this person meant a lot to me, and I'm just grateful that they can be remembered. So this is wonderful. I hope you guys have plenty lanterns, because it just seems like this is going to be a huge event, where a
Yeah.
lot of people will be, and I'm glad you guys are doing it in phases in terms of the release, because too much lanterns going up can buy way, can my buy way.
The planes coming in.
Right. So that is very significant that you guys are having it in phases. That way it happens gradually, and you're not just getting all 9 segments or groups being released all at once. I want to go to the chat. Gregory saying that he's listening to views on Dominic and stepping up, and I highly appreciate the job you guys are doing. Keep it up. Tessa is sending a clap. Tessa, welcome. Lucy saying, my grade 7 teacher and my neighbor. Great job, Margot. Someone else to say, Jay saying, when they close the hospital door, we provide health clinics through the window. so so folks are really commending you guys on the work that you're doing. I mean, I feel so warm about the work that you guys are doing, because I feel like it's so necessary. A lot of times we want to depend on everybody else to do what we need to get done. But you guys have really taken up the mantle within your respective groups, and you're saying, why wait? Why not mobilize and do it ourselves? And it does lift a tremendous weight on your community. It lifts, people feel, hey, things are being done where we are able to have a free health clinic. We're able to do all of this during our month of activity. So I really want to commend both your groups for establishing the organizations you've established. I'm looking forward to the health fair. So I don't know if folks have any questions. So folks are listening in Georgia, people are on the live, and they're just a lot of people are just clapping. They're really happy to hear what you guys are doing. I don't know if you guys have any final words. If people on the live want to ask any questions, now is your opportunity to ask any questions about either of the events. Do you guys have a Facebook group? Do you guys have, a way in which people can reach out? Because there may be people in the diaspora or people in other communities who are originally from Marigot, right? Who might want to get some more information, or find out how they can participate, especially with in terms of the register that you guys are collecting, the registering people, as well as future events along the lines of the St. Andrews Foundation, Healthcare Foundation. So, Sandra, I'll go with you first. If you have any contact information.
We do not have a Facebook page, but we do have, the organization has a page, and you can donate to the organization. It's we are Stand Dominica, STAND
Mhm.
Dominica, DOMINICA, one word, .org.
Okay.
And if you go there, you will see a donate button. You will see join the foundation in making contributions. You can read up about the foundation. You can read our mission, our vision, the activities that we've been involved in. You will see the names of the other members of St. Andrew's Hospital Foundation USA.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And so you will see that happening there right there, and you can always reach out to us.
Okay. Fantastic. So standdominica.org, you can actually your contact information, everything is right on the webpage, and
Yes,
you can contact the organization that way. If you're in the diaspora, you want to donate, you're probably from Marigot, you're probably from St. Andrews, and you want to be part of the initiative. They're like millionaires, outside of Dominica, sitting down, I'm telling you, and they're like, I mean, it's you get a tax break, right? So why not,
yes, you do.
if you're able to actually assist your community? A lot of times we leave our homes, we leave our countries, our villages where we're from, and we throw big stone behind us and we don't pass back, right? But it's always good to give back. It's always good to think of the community and helping out wherever you can. So thank you again for providing that information, Sandra.
I must say there are a number of persons from Marigot who are always willing to come on board. I mean, earlier on, I mentioned that I'm involved in a number of groups. We do lots of things for Marigot. There are lots of groups working individually, independently for Marigot. Um, Deborah is speaking about the remembering of the ancestors. And if I may steal a little bit of that, we actually have an activity during the independence celebration where we honor our treasures who are currently living in Marigot. They're alive and well in Marigot, and every independence, we have a celebration for them on November 3rd. So while we're celebrating those who are alive, we have another organization that is now going back, taking us back into remembering those who have already contributed and have passed on already.
Wow. Lucy Fran Springer is saying, in addition to these initiatives, teacher Sandra has also gotten together some of her past grade 7 students to support our primary school. We have adopted grades, the Will Strathmore Stevens, and buy items off their Amazon list. Ebe, zoka febite. Look that are going on in the community of Margaret. So folks, she's just commending you guys on the work that you're doing. So thank you very much for sharing that with us, Sandra. Deborah, tell us a little bit of any final things that you want to share. Folks have some questions, so I wanna drop in the box, in the chat box. Somebody saying, "Am I able to purchase a lantern? Is it still open? Will it be done every year?" People asking questions, right? People asking questions.
All right. Yes, we want to make this an annual event. So sorry to say that we are actually oversubscribed for this year, and so we had to close registrations earlier today because we really did get a lot of support, more than we had anticipated, and we thank you for that. We also got a lot of support from the diaspora. Persons sent in donations, and persons are asking questions. How can we help? We want to be on board next year. So yes, we want to have the activity as an annual one. So next year, May, probably the same date, May 4th, we want to have another ecumenical service. And I just want to say also that this is just one activity that will be spawning from all of this. So next year, what we want to do also is to begin lighting up community, and we want to start lighting up the resting places of our ancestors. So we will be rolling out a program for getting some street lights And we will also be offering the opportunity for persons to buy a street light in the name of their ancestor. So hopefully we will come back on your show.
Well, all you know is
Come back on your show when we are ready to roll it out and to give, the information out there to the public.
Do you have a contact, like, because folks
Yes,
are out there?
yes.
If you
We have
have,
a
yeah,
sorry. We
Facebook
have
page,
a Facebook page. It's Marigot History Working Group.
Arrogant History Working Group is a Facebook
Right.
page.
It's on
You
Facebook,
can
yes.
you can go on Facebook and you can follow them, and you can ask questions. You can reach out. You can find out about. You can pre-order for next year. Like secure your spot for next year.
Yes.
I think it's a great initiative. I am interested to see how it ends, with the lighting of of all the lanterns and stuff. And I think you guys are doing a wonderful job in your community. So I want to comment of you for the contribution, as well as your groups, on all of the other groups that you guys are part of. I want to commend you guys on your contributions to your community. I mean, it's so important that you guys have continued to do the work, and you see where there are gaps, and no village is perfect, no country is perfect, right? But the fact that you recognize the gaps and you are able to fill in the gaps, it will make for. That's why Marigot people so happy. That's why when you go there on a weekend, everybody having a good time, because it doesn't feel like the gaps are being filled, right? So I want to commend you guys. I see Odie is also on the live, and she's also saying, I just want to say thanks to both of you for your work in the community. So she's just sharing her thank you. A lot of folks are saying thank you. Jay Prince, thank you. Um, Gregory saying thank you. Nona is saying, I love this idea. I'm adopting a street light. She's already put her name up for that. Tessa Harper, Marigot on the rise again. I love this. Debbie saying, but how come some of us out here don't know about those groups to donate? Well, you now know. I mean, they picked a right medium. Now you know. People are listening from California. Nona said, I'm listening from California, and I'm feeling so proud. So I want to say thank you to both of you for coming on, and thank you to the Marigot Development Committee. I know you guys have a month of events. I expect to see more people come on to talk about the different activities that are going on, because there's events at the start of May and there are events at the end of May that are happening in Marigot. And I want to congratulate you guys on an enjoyable. I make sure you guys have an enjoyable Mayfest, and I look forward to hearing more about the outcomes of both your initiatives. So thank you both ladies for coming on. I want to leave the floor open to you. So if you have any final words, you can share with the audience. So we'll start with Sandra.
Okay, Jael, thanks for having me on here together with Deborah. Um, it was indeed a pleasure. A little hesitant to decide to come on, yes, but it was good. While we decided the decision to come on was a worthwhile one, because I'm sharing the word. People are hearing, people are responding, and we want to just appeal to the people from Marigot. Those of you who are listening and you have your relatives here in Marigot, please reach out to them and ask them to take advantage of a free healthcare activity. Come on out. We are even contemplating providing, we might have transportation available for persons who are not
Shut.
very close to the venue.
Mhm.
We are working on getting a bus. So probably we'll put out an announcement with somebody on a vehicle going around, sharing that information so that you can get to the health fair if mobility is a problem. But please come on out. We need healthy people. The activities for Mayfest are varied. We have fun family fun days, so you have to be healthy. You have to know the pressure not high, so you can come out and laugh a lot and see the little children get involved, because we have activities for across the board. if I may
Yes.
use this platform to talk about, to just mention some of the activities.
Go
So
ahead.
on Monday, there is May Day. We're going to have the Family Fun Day, which will involve sports, basically netball on the beach. First community to put netball on the beach. We did it last year. It was a success. We're doing it again this year. We have football on the beach. We have volleyball, and then there are the traditional games, lime and spoon, sack race, bun eating, and the likes. So once your health is intact, you know you okay, you can come and be part of that activity. And between those 2 days, you come on out and get involved in it with your celebration for your ancestors. So it's come on out to the health fair May 3rd from 9 to 4 at Will Strathmore Stevens. We have all our medical persons in the area and some from out coming in. Don't miss out.
Thank you, Jael, for having me on. I'm not a media person. I always shy away from, coming to the public. But I was forced to come here, and I must say I enjoyed the hour. We just want to really thank the public, the Marigot public, the local public, and the diaspora Marigot public for the overwhelming support that they give to this new initiative, because we started out in April, and we didn't think we'd have had this amount of success. So we're really thankful for persons really coming on board. And we want to say also thank you to the MDC for allowing us, because when we pitched the idea, they weren't buying us at first, because they were wondering how a service is going to fit into an entertainment weekend. But we thank them for buying into it, and we thank Odie for giving us the platform through you, so that we can spread the word about this show. So not the show, about the service. So once again, I want to say to Marigot persons in locally and in the diaspora to continue to support your village. We'll be putting a link on our Facebook page, marigothistoryworkinggroup.com. The link will be put on Friday morning. So you can join the service at 5 o'clock on Saturday and be part of the activities. You'll see the balloons, you'll see the lanterns, and you'll also be able to share in the service and to enjoy. So thank you
Thank
once again.
you. Thank you to both of you. Yes.
like 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 Deborah said, MDC, kudos to MDC for always being there for Mayfest, doing what they have to do for Mayfest, seizing the opportunity to split it in part one and part two. So Marigot History Working Group fits into the first part, nice inclusion, and Fresh Market for supporting the venture as well and being willing to be part sponsors of the activity.
Thank you to both of you, and thank you guys for. I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing with my audience, and I hope that folks got a lot of information out of it. And for whatever you missed, you can contact them. There are ways to contact. You can contact Sandra's group at standominica.org. You can contact Deborah's group at Marigot History Working Group on Facebook. There are means and ways of reaching out and being part, even if you missed out this year for whatever reason. All right, you missed out. You know that you can turn on your notifications for next year, whether it is to get lanterns, whether it is to register your loved ones, or whether it is to take part in the health fair. I want to say thank you very much to both of you for coming. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again, Jael.
You're welcome. Guys, that's it. That's it for this evening. Want to thank, big up shout out to Odie, who's on the live. Big up shout out to her for making that connection, making that plug. Thank you very much to the folks from the Marigot History Working Group, as well as the St. Andrew's Hospital Foundation USA, that is the Marigot Health Village Health Fair Group, for coming by and stopping off and sharing with us on the activities that are happening this weekend. So this Friday and Saturday, there's the health fair on Friday and the ecumenical service on Saturday. And I know there's a lot more in store from Mayfest. I feel honored that they choose to come on my show and share share all of the good stuff that's going on. So you just gotta stay locked in. We're gonna keep you guys locked into what's going on in Marigot during May Fest. Thanks to all those of you who tuned in, those of you who tuned in on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Thank you very much for staying locked on. And some of you are apparently new to the show. So thank you very much for coming on and following the vibes and enjoying the show. And I hope I see you guys on next time. Tomorrow, we have an interesting conversation. We're going to be talking about recent laws, so the decriminalization of homosexual sex in Dominica, with the director of public prosecutions, Sherman Darampo, is going to be joining us. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I want to stay tuned for that. Bring your questions. Send me your questions. If you couple and you don't want to ask in person, send me your questions. We're putting everything on the table. We want to know, how it applies to us. How does it benefit groups, the LGBTQ group? What are some of the things that this act makes available for people? Why was it even introduced? We're gonna get a little background story on what's going on with this new act or this amendment, I should say. So we're gonna be joined with Sherma, who is the DPP. So she's gonna be on tomorrow. I'm saying adieu tonight, and be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So keep it locked. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.